What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video by Hotel 49ers podcast. Today we'll be doing the Commanders 49ers post-game podcast. And I'm your host, JT, and my co-host is Dan.
Hello there.
And don't forget to like and subscribe. We beat the Commanders 37-20 at home.
On Christmas Eve, and today is Christmas.
Yeah.
We want to
Merry Christmas.
Wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Yep. So we'll be posting this later.
So first, let's talk about the great defense. Well, I wouldn't say great, but not bad.
Yeah, they gave up 20 points, not the usual on their average recently, but they did shut down the run game pretty well, very well actually. Brian Robinson Jr. was running pretty well before he came through the buzzsaw, which is the 49er run defense. So I think they averaged 2 or 3 yards a carry or something. Really stopped them. Passing offense on their side kind of showed up a little bit. Heineke made some plays. Jahan Dotson made some catches. And, of course, Scary Terry did his usual damage, but nothing too bad.
So Nick Bosa got 2 sacks.
Oh, yeah.
Breakout game.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Wearing my Bosa jersey there.
You did. We were at the game, like we said before. We were going to go to the game, so we did have some good seats, and we were able to witness all that great stuff that happened. Nick Bosa's 2 sacks. Could have been 3 if that knee was down. Carson Wentz, right? He tossed the ball right before his knee hit the ground. It was tough to see on the replay whether or not it really hit. But 2 sacks, and that really brings his total to 17 and a half sacks for the year. And he's leading the NFL in sacks now. He took the lead back again because you told me that Matthew Judon had a sack and was tied with him for a while.
Yeah.
And now he's up. So that's great. He looks to be legit. What other things happened in the defense that was highlights, you thought?
Well, we stopped the Commanders on 4th down 2 times. One of them was when Taylor Heineke did a QB sneak. Those things are hard to stop, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially in Madden. Yeah.
Yeah, they are pretty hard to stop in video games and in real life.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
I do want to mention that Warner got a good jump on Heineke. I'm not sure he really touched him, but he looked like he got a good jump on him.
Okay, yeah, that was some crucial plays. That was the play that they had a 17-play drive against us, and it ended with that 4th down. They went for it on 4th down. You know, Ron Rivera likes to gamble a little bit, so he went on 4th down, but he lost. So that was a great stand by the defense. It proves that they can bend but not break. That's how they've been for most of this season. And the other one was a good 4th down stop too.
In the red zone, they ran it and then we stopped them. They're so close to getting a touchdown, but we just stopped them. That's the defense we got.
What else happened on the defensive side? There was an interception
by Jimmy Ward.
Oh, that was almost ran back for. It could have been like a touchdown, right? But it was. Yeah, they told him that he was touched, supposedly.
We need extra replaying for that.
I did not get to see the replays because we were at the game, so I didn't get to see the other views and camera angles and slow-mo stuff. They just called it that he was down by contact, so it didn't count, unfortunately. I saw him faint after. You saw that, right?
Not sure if you guys saw that.
Yeah, it was on the big screen at Levi's, and when Jimmy Ward heard that the touchdown was taken away, he face planted onto the ground like he fainted. That was funny.
And Fred Warner had a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
He led the team with 13 tackles.
That's great. That's what we need from All-Pro Fred, huh?
And Pro Bowl Fred, too.
All-Pro and Pro Bowl Fred, yes.
This year, All-Pro.
There you go. So, like you were talking about Nick Bosa, his performance uh, Christmas Eve, did that catapult him more into the lead for Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, if John gets 1 sack and Bush gets two, that's I don't know how odds work, but that's increasing by like 20%.
Yeah, you told me that the odds makers in Vegas had given him to be the favorite to win Defensive Player of the Year, and that was before this game. So with an extra couple of more sacks, a strong game all around, against the run too, that he is probably the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I know it's not just a sack count race, but sacks sure do count and help.
A lot.
Yeah. So that's great. Nick Bosa looking on track to be Defensive Player of the Year. How about on the offensive side, huh?
George Kittle with a breakout game, his second breakout game in a row actually.
Oh man.
He got 2 touchdowns and 120 receiving yards. In the past 2 games, he has gotten 4 touchdowns.
Wow. That's a great streak. And we did see that stat, right? The last 49er to have 2 receiving touchdowns in 2 consecutive games was back in 2002. You know who that player was?
Terrell Owens?
Yeah, that's correct. That's good. Yeah, you know your stuff. Yeah, that was a great showing by George Kittle. And you see the connection between Brock Purdy. George Kittle is doing things that he was not doing with Jimmy G. Even though they're buds, for some reason, you weren't getting the most out of George Kittle. And I was thinking they would leave George Kittle in to help protect on the O-line to give Brock Purdy more time since he's a rookie. And, this is just his third start. But they're taking Kittle out and putting him as a receiver, as an offensive weapon. So it's surprising me how much Shanahan trusts Brock Purdy in all different facets. So he's comfortable with him being rushed and maybe not having max protection for pass protection. So it says a lot about Shanahan and how Brock Purdy are going too.
There is a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo hate now because they're comparing Brock Purdy to Jimmy Garoppolo with George Kittle.
Yeah, they have that too. And then you make a good point, and other people too, that this is a great apples to apples comparison of the 2 quarterbacks. We are dealing with the same team, the same coaching staff, same season, with 2 different quarterbacks manning the offense. And you see how different things are looking. Brock Purdy might not have a super strong arm, but he doesn't mind throwing it downfield. He doesn't mind taking a risk and going deep, a little deeper. So that opens the playbook for the Niners and Shanahan to run almost anything. It's an eye-opening fact right now that we're seeing. Anybody else do well on the offense?
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh,
and of course, Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Ayuk has some good receiving yards, good amount, right?
81 receiving yards. He had that 54-yard catch.
Oh, that's great. I love big chunk plays like that. Makes things so much easier on the offense. The run game was kind of stuffed a bit, huh? The carries, yards per carry was kind of low for CMC. And we got to see TDP for once, huh? I mean, a good amount.
And Jordan Mason didn't play, but at least got to see what TDP got to do.
Yeah, he looked okay. I mean, we're comparing him to Jordan Mason. That's a hard, tough comparison to go against an undrafted rookie. But Jordan Mason looked incredible. TDP looked average. And average is okay to start off with for him.
Backup.
Yeah, for a third round pick. With more experience, hopefully he improves. If this is his floor, that's fine. I'll be happy with that for now.
And the 49ers came off that game with no injuries except for Travis Ward for a bit. And what injury do you have?
Yeah, he had. It's not even an injury. It's just nausea, which is like having a stomach ache or something, wanting to throw up. I don't know how that happened. Never really got to explain, but he did come back later on in the game. So you were the one that noticed that he was out and Samuel Womack was in. And as soon as you told me that, they started picking on Samuel Womack and throwing against him, and they were completing passes towards him. I'm like, oh my God, what happens with Moody Ward is out, we're in trouble. But the defense tightened up later on, and of course, Travis Ward did come back. So that nausea stuff, it should not be anything that's lasting. It should be done.
That's just be a day.
Yeah, it should be a day, like a stomach ache. By next game, he should be fine.
And what's also so great about this one? It extends our win streak to 8 games.
My God. When we started this season, it was rocky. We lost our the opener against the Bears, and then we were like up and down. Won a couple, lost one, and then we went through that losing streak, which is not much of a losing streak, but 2 games. The Falcons and then the Chiefs. Things were looking pretty bleak. We lost Lance for the season. Things were looking.
Garoppolo wasn't playing good.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, especially that Denver game, he didn't play well. He got better later on, but with the losing streak too, with those 2 games, it was tough. But we went through this last year too, and they turned it around, and they turned it around again this year. There's a lot of heart in this team, which is very impressive. It's easy to root for these guys.
And do you know why Drake Jackson was inactive?
Yeah, we were wondering that. We were headed to the game, and you were talking about that, and I was surprised. I wasn't too sure why, but they explained later on that they thought the Commanders were going to be running the ball a lot.
That was true. They did.
Yeah, they were a run-heavy team, and they were going to run against us. And since Javon Kittle was just coming off of IR, they didn't want to give him too much snaps, so they needed also some more depth to relieve him. So they decided to put on extra defensive tackles just for this game. But I believe Drake Jackson will get back and be active next game. The norm.
And another player that was active but didn't play a snap on offense was Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
He didn't play because of the hamstring injury, but he was on there for special teams.
Yeah. And, of course, the first play of the game got us all nervous when Jordan Mason was on the ground. Yeah.
But he jogged off the field, so he was fine.
Yeah, that's a relief. That was a big relief. But, yeah, I'm hoping one more week of rest for Jordan Mason. He'll be able to actually play a lot more snaps on the offensive side.
And here were my best players of the game, offense and defense. George Kittle, obviously.
Yes, that is Mr. Obvious. Okay.
But not every week like Nick Bosa.
Okay, you're going to get me on that side. Okay. That's true. All right. That's
120 yards for Kittle.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 touchdowns.
Oh, and that one touchdown was kind of iffy. I noticed that there was 2 people in the end zone right next to that pass.
Ryan McCall was right next to him. Oh yeah, Ryan McCall did score a 71-yard rush. Jet sweep, that was impressive.
Oh, that's right. Those kind of plays are kind of Debo-like plays that Shanahan calls, and he called it for Ray, and the blocks were perfect. Opened up a hole, ran down the sideline. It was a thing of beauty. That's right. And so the other one that we were talking about was George Kittle stealing Ray McCloud's touchdown, right?
I don't think Coach Shanahan's too happy about it, and I don't know what Ray McCloud's reaction is to that.
Yeah.
And he is not sorry. He was supposed to run a different route, but he just decided to run where Ray McCloud was.
And steal that touchdown from him. Oh, that's kind of crazy, but...
It's not a kill thing to do, really.
No, you're right. Yeah, I know. He usually doesn't care about stats, right? That's why he doesn't mind just blocking and not having to go out and catch and get touchdowns, but this one he's like, nah, I want this touchdown.
He'll be too greedy and got a touchdown. Was that his first touchdown of the game? Or was that his second?
Maybe might have been the second one. That was in the.
Hey, don't get
right
greedy.
after
You
halftime.
already have a touchdown. And you want the second one.
And who else is your other best player on the defensive side?
Like you mentioned earlier, Fred Warner. I chose him because he led the team tackles with 13 tackles, and was important on the fourth down plays with stopping them.
Yeah. He's having a great year. So, my best player, we'll start on defensive side. We'll go for Mr. Obvious, Nick Bosa, of course. We were always cheering and hoping for sacks, and he delivered. Gave us 2 sacks, plus it's a pseudo sack on a 2-point conversion, and that almost sack against Carson Wentz before his knee hit. So there was a lot of close ones too. But 2 sacks for him, and all-around great game for Bosa. Offensively, I'd have to give it to Brock Purdy, because he needs, well, as they say, some flowers, because he ran the offense very well. Start was a little slow, a little choppy. Got some passes deflected, but got things under control later on. Made some good reads, and that deep pass to Kittle / Ray Ray was right on. So, and he of course made some good scrambles. I do appreciate his scrambling skills to get out of danger and throw the ball away if need be. So Brock Purdy and Nick Bosa, 2 Mr. Obviouses for me. So.
Well, don't forget to like and subscribe, and that wraps up for today's podcast. Next week, it's the Raiders. You're up next, Raiders. And I expect to take over their stadium.
Yeah. We know. I know some people that are going to be going. So, Niner fans, take over. Love to see a sea of red in the black and silver stadium.
And goodbye.